My wife and I just got our basement finished and now we want to use it. Problem is, when you pay someone to finish your basement, that's pretty expensive. Life in general right now is also pretty expensive. So welcome to my budget basement home theater build that's perfect for a growing family. Let's dive into it. For this build, I'm fully utilizing my Amazon Prime and Costco memberships to maximize the budget and value for this project. A full parts and price breakdown will be available at the end. This build is a great starting point to get something that is good sounding, visually appealing, and fun to hang out with, but allows you to grow with technology changes. Product disclosure time. Nobody sponsored this video. Nobody gave me anything for free. I picked out everything and purchased it myself based off of the budget constraints and brand functionality and preference. If you like what you see in this video or you want to purchase any of it for yourself, links are available down below. You may notice the tape up on the wall here. That was a combination of just space planning, and we were debating between a larger TV and this one. Put the tape up on the wall, mapped it out. We ultimately decided to go with the LG QNED85A, the 75-inch version, instead of the 86-inch version that was available. The height of this is based off of the viewing angle from our sectional couch, based off of my height and how far away it is from the wall. In our instances, this is a little high for comfortable viewing over wall because I am the tallest person in the house as well. So we'll be lowering it a little bit for the end product, but this is a good way to just map out how big a TV will be on your wall before you start drilling holes. At the heart of this home theater build is the LG 75-inch QNED85 AAA. Not exactly sure if that's how you pronounce it, but I bought it, so I'm going with it. It's powered by quantum dot and nanocell technology, delivering incredibly rich colors and deep contrast you can actually feel. The brains inside this TV is the A8 AI processor, which automatically enhances picture and sound in real time. Now, to drive all the accessories for this TV has 120 Hz native refresh rate with Dolby Vision and Dolby Plus, tied with HDMI 2.1, which also features VRR and AMD FreeSync support, perfect for all of your gaming needs. Lastly, of course, since this is an LG TV, it features LG's WebOS 25, which has all of your favorite streaming apps built in right out of the box. Now let's see if I can actually lift this TV out of the packaging without embarrassing myself. Anywho, this is the Echogear tilting low profile TV mount for TVs up to 90 inches in size. So just in case 75 inches wasn't big enough, I can go get a hernia trying to lift a larger one by myself. But back to the TV mount, as you can see, it is made from quality materials. It's simple to put together. You know, TV brackets these days really aren't that complicated. You put a bracket on the TV itself, you put one on the wall, make sure everything's level, and you attach them. The reason why I like Echogear in this case is everything is well made. Everything is color coordinated. It ships with all the screws you could ever need to attach it to any type of TV or monitor. And they just actually happen to be made in Minnesota. So in the age where we run to Amazon for everything, it's nice to know that some of the products that we buy just happen to be made, 15, 20 minutes down the road. And then beyond that, I get to chuckle out of their counterculture, slightly sarcastic jokes that are on the side of the box now. Like this mount said 100% gluten-free, because I know gluten was what I was really worried about when buying a TV mount. And I actually just had to buy a second mount for a different project, and that one said, no puppies inside, sorry. So just something a little different to break up the day. Back to the task at hand with the template provided with the mount, which makes this super easy. We got to do something that could be viewed as a little sacrilegious here and drill holes into these nicely finished basement walls. In the layout section of this video, I mentioned that from that perfect centered location based off of my height, we wanted to lower the TV 1.5 inches or 2 inches or so. And when I measured the brackets on the TV, I found the mounting holes were actually offset by exactly that amount, which makes this a lot easier because then I can just center the mount on the wall, center the mount on the brackets, and then the end result is that lowering that I was hoping for. Not every TV is going to be that easy, but I'll take the wins where I can get them. Now we got to get these cables ready and run because it's way harder to run them after the TV's up. Jeez, you green. Sealed for freshness much? Pro tip, label both sides of your cables, and then also along with that, double check the order of your HDMI ports before you lift it up on the wall. That is very important, especially in this case, because we need to use eARC for the soundbar. This eARC is only on HDMI 3, and the order of the ports on this TV happens to go 1, 3, 2, 4, which, did I mention this TV is 75 pounds? I only want to lift it once. Now, before we lift this TV up, let's get some LEDs on here while it's nice and easy to do it. Govee makes two sizes for this kit here. I forget what they are, but because it's a 75-inch TV, I needed the larger one. You don't cut these LEDs at all. They're pre-connected in the corners. The instructions say to put this 2 inches in from the sides, but as you can see, I don't have that space on a 75-inch TV to do that. So let's see how this turns out. This is the Govee TV Backlight 3 Pro, just in case you didn't see it earlier. In other words, it's Govee's latest and greatest for camera-based TV backlight solutions. Both, Govee and Philips Hue and a few other manufacturers obviously have their HDMI box solutions, but those cost at least 30% more, and then you have some headaches of different HDMI versions and all that stuff. So price point wise, if this works out, huge value prop. Cool effects too, with just it turned on and the hue around it. I'm already excited for this to see. To calibrate it, you put these orange dots, which I will tell you a better way that I found after the fact here in Lessons Learned, but you put these orange foam blocks on your brand new TV, and then you enroll it in the app, in theory, which we'll see here in a minute. While this process kicks off here, I'm just going to pontificate about Govee. Not going to lie, I love Govee's business model, which is effectively, let's make everything that Philips Hue did to make them popular in this space, but we're going to do it for 30% less. And then after we get established, we're going to make everything that they didn't make. That's essentially their model. The only knock I have against them is some of their products only work with their phone. Some of it works with Amazon. Some of it works with Google. Some of it works with Apple. The way to figure out what products work with each ecosystem on their website and their packaging, absolutely terrible. So that's the only thing I can recommend about Govee, is just make it easy for people to find the stuff that already works with the ecosystem that they chose. Like, you already won them on the price to value ratio. Now just make it easier for people to buy it. And as I went on my rant about Govee's business model there, you can see this enrollment is a very fancy next finish. You throw in your Wi-Fi adapter, you line up the dots with the camera so it gets basically the skewing angles correctly with the camera. And once it's all said and done, you get to watch a firmware update because, it's electronics that came out in the last 20 years, so it has firmware that needs to be updated. And after we initialize this camera, we are good to go for some testing. Well, because of copyright and distribution agreements, let's enjoy some stock video footage where I won't get demonetized for this video here. So when Govee does warn you about reflective surfaces or white surfaces, you do see a little bit of that in the corners from the media cabinet that we have there. I'm going to look into different, covers to alleviate that. Essentially, if the reflection of white is stronger than the color in the corner, it gets the little chopping that you see there in the bottom left and right corners. Also, with the video run, I did notice some misalignment stuff, so I recalibrated it afterwards, and it solved all of those problems. But overall, it does map colors nicely. It does add ambiance to it. There is a little bit of over exaggerations just because my camera is also trying to process the image as it shifts. So some of it's a little heightened, but overall it looks good. Now I know what you're really looking forward to is video games, and why not? So grabbed Forza Horizon 5, and apparently they released this new Horizon Realms right at roughly the same time, or at least in between the last time I played it and now, which was a while ago. And I grabbed some Call of Duty footage as well to kind of show the extremes of what this experience could be like for video gaming.
We've taken control. We're pulling ahead.
This isn't too bad considering I haven't played Call of Duty in a year. A little rusty and playing a little awkwardly around a camera right now, but NBD. But while you guys have something entertaining on the screen to watch, I'm going to set up everything for the soundbar, so then while I give you the best demo that I can with the equipment that I have, I'm going to shut up and get out of the way. Obviously, video is a very important part of a home theater, but the second half of that is audio. And the soundbar system that brings this all together is the LG S80TY. It is a 3.1.3 system, so you have Dolby Atmos, has 3 up-firing speakers to handle that. Actually, the soundbar itself has 9 speakers in it total to cover those 2 sets of 3 channels. And this thing is phenomenal. Like, even this recording that sounds good that you're going to hear in a moment, it can't do it justice. The main limitation on this one, though, is Costco locked this down. They are the only retailer that can carry this right now. So if you have a Costco membership, I highly recommend it. Like, this solution here, in my opinion, sounds better than a Sonos Beam with a Sonos sub, and it's cheaper than that solution. So highly recommend it. I will show off the soundbar piece of it here, and then we can discuss on how much this all costs and lessons learned afterwards. Now I know what you're wondering. How much does all this cost? You said this was a budget basement home theater, so let's go through it. The LG 75-inch QNED85A TV right now for the month of November on both Costco and Amazon is $900. Granted, it is not an OLED TV, but there's also no way you are going to get a 75-inch OLED TV for less than $1,000. The LG SG80TY 3.1.3 soundbar, that is also a Costco exclusive, is $599.99. So if you're quick with math, $1,500 out the door, 75-inch TV that looks amazing with awesome Dolby Atmos sound, and you're done. LG does make a $200 add-on kit if you do want to turn it into a 5.1.3 system that's separate, but I will include a slightly more expensive option that is available on Amazon in the description down below if you don't want to get a Costco membership. Now, if you want to match this one-to-one with the TV backlit and the wall mount and all the cables, here's the rest of the stuff for you. The Govee TV Backlight 3 Pro is currently $209.99 on Amazon. When I bought it at the end of October of 2025, it was on sale at that time for $150, $160, somewhere in that range. Historically, Govee is usually super aggressive on Black Friday with their pricing, so I wouldn't be surprised if this drops down to that $170, $150-ish range come Black Friday. But $209 for this experience isn't bad either. If you need a wall mount, the Echogear TV tilting wall mount that I purchased for this build is also a $39.99, and then I pre-ran all the cables so I never have to do it again, and the only time this is coming off the wall is if it dies. So 4 10-foot HDMI 2.1 cables, coax cables, since I have whole home antenna service and an Ethernet cable is roughly $100 in, you know, miscellaneous cables. So my grand total is $18.49.96. Also, side note, my wife did find that media cabinet at Costco as well. It's currently $450 in our area. And then that wireless access point in the corner of the screen there is also available on another video on my channel if you're interested in that. And it's also linked down below too. All right, and to bring this video to a close, again, if there is anything that you are interested in from this video, links to everything are down below. But let's do a quick lessons learned here. I'm just going to rapid fire these off since I've kind of alluded to what some of them are anyways. First and foremost, my original plan for the soundbar was to use the Echogear soundbar mount and then make it a one unit piece with the TV. Unfortunately, when you expand the clamps to hold the soundbar, the adjustment nut, wing, whatever on the clamp itself directly blocks the mounting screw hole on the soundbar. Depending upon your situation, that may or may not be the end of the world if you trust your surroundings on that. I have a 3-year-old, so I do not trust gravity in that case. Moving on to number 2, double check your HDMI ports. I almost fell into the case where I didn't catch the fact that they reordered HDMI 2 and 3, and the soundbar we needed HDMI 3. Again, this is TV 75 pounds. I did have my wife help lift this one up here so I wouldn't, you know, put gashes in the walls here, but making sure you know the order of your HDMI ports. So when you're plugging these cables in, when it's on the wall, you don't necessarily need to see the number to be able to do that. And then the last 3 are all Govee related. So distance from the wall, you're gonna have to make a personal preference decision on this one here. Govee actually recommends that the TV be about double the distance, so 5 to 6 inches off the wall to get the full effect. And you can see that in some cases here, because TV is so close to the wall, the lights are a little limited. Next is the reflective media cabinet. This is in their instructions. It does happen. You know, it was less of an issue before that cabinet came and the soundbar is on the floor, which that's not a good situation either. I'm looking into if I can just get a film so I don't have like a black mat sitting on top of a white media cabinet to kind of absorb some of those lights and not mess with it. But generally it's not a big deal. I think the video kind of exacerbates it a little bit, but just keep that in mind. If you have white reflective furniture around, it could mess with the camera interpreting the colors correctly. And then last but not least, if you don't want to put those orange dots on your TV, in the description down below, there is a link to Govee's channel where they have a video you can play with orange dots without actually putting foam orange dots on your screen to calibrate the camera. Until next time, I hope this budget basement build helps you in your future movie watching or video game experiences. Bye now.